What is going on, good people? Welcome to another video. We are On Time Realty Solutions, and we are here with another great video. We want to bring you some info about what you can do, what steps you can take, and what actions you can take to stop a foreclosure. As we've spoken about on some of our previous videos, we speak to people that are in foreclosure daily. And you'd be surprised by the amount of people that have no idea what they can do, let alone, even being ready to mentally deal with what they can actually do and take action to either prevent a foreclosure, slow it down so they can figure out what they want to do next, or, just basically just stop it so it's not on your credit. Today, we're going to go over some of the top options that people take to stop a foreclosure. And the first one, I'm going to let you go ahead and take over, Jason, is loan mods. I know you love this subject.
Okay, so the first option you have, which is the most popular, is a loan modification, also called loan mod for short. Now, what this is the bank will restructure your loan and they'll make it affordable for you, but there are certain qualifications and they'll be asking for a lot of documents in order to qualify you for that. So the amount that you're behind, they'll just add it on the back of that loan during their restructuring, and then they'll give you a new affordable payment. Now, different things can change in a loan mod. Like I said, they'll go over your documents and see exactly what you qualified for. As we said in earlier videos, that's why it's important to get on this as quick as possible, not put your head in the sand and retreat. You need to call the bank as soon as possible so you can get the best possible scenario.
Just to reiterate what Jason is speaking about with the time frame, some of these banks will drag their feet on getting you the necessary docs.
Yes.
That you need to get the process started and going.
Yep.
We get a lot of people that assume that they're on a loan file where we're calling them, and then when we ask them, what paperwork do you have? What do you have? They have no ideas. Basically, you want to be a nagging neighbor on this. You want to be knocking on their door, calling them every day until you have proper documentation sent to you to make sure that you are at least starting the process.
First of all, the approval of loan modifications is very low. Most of these banks, it goes to a department, they're dragging their feet on it, like my partner, the champ, said. And when you call, they're going to tell you, oh, Mr. Such and Such or Mrs. Such and Such, you're in the pile. We're processing your application, whatever. And then weeks pass by, months pass by, all the time you're late. Fees are accumulating. You're getting closer and closer to that timeline of losing your home. So like Champ said, you want to nag them and you want to stay on it. And if you've never been through this process, you might want to reach out to a professional to help you through this process, because that paperwork can be tedious and you don't want to miss anything. The packet they send you might be 21 pages. Page 17, you might have missed filling something out. A signature didn't put something. Instead of calling you saying, oh, we're missing such and such on page 17, they'll just let it sit. And then at the end, when your back is totally against the wall, they'll say, oh, you didn't do this page. Can we fax it? Can we email it to you? And you're on a time crunch. This happens all the time. So you want to stay on top of it.
Now, don't expect them to save you.
Yeah, don't expect them to save you. You need to be very proactive. The second thing a lot of people try to do is a forbearance. You hear that word a lot, and it's confused a lot with loan mod. They're not the same. A forbearance is just kind of a suspension of payments to give you a break, so you can get yourself together, your finances, or whatever hardship you're going through. Just to give you an example, forbearance is, oh, you're called the bank and you need help, and they offer a forbearance. They'll say, oh, well, we'll give you 5 months off your payment. It can be anywhere from 3 to 6 months is what I've seen. So say if they give you 5 months off, your mortgage note might be $1,000 a month. On that 5th month, they want that whole $5,000, and then you'll start back on track. But not only will they want that whole $5,000, they'll want the payment due for that month. So you might as well say they'll want $6,000 due upfront. A lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, I got to break on payments. I can save, I can do this. No, you're going to have to pay that, and it's going to come all at once due. And that confuses a lot of people, and it's not explained very well to a lot of people. I've seen this happen a lot to elderly people who really might not understand the whole process. And they think, oh, well, I have this time, and then now, oh, I could just get back on track now. Say it's January, and then come June, oh, I can start my payments again, and I'm good. Like they just suspended the payments, and they just poof went into thin air. No, they're going to want their money, and they want it all due at one point. And another thing I see is they say during this break in payment, it doesn't affect your credit payment, but often it does, because sometimes that's another department or it's automatically generated. And that late payment will hit your credit one time, maybe 1, 2, or 3 during that period where you weren't supposed to pay. And it's a nightmare getting that off. So you kind of want to get that in writing too. So if you do have to dispute that thing on your credit report, you want to have that document you can send the credit report like, look, they weren't supposed to report these months, so you can get it off. Either way, it's going to be a headache, but I've seen that happen a lot also.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of nightmare scenarios when it
Yeah,
comes to forbearances. Like you said, people naturally think it's some type of forgiveness. And that just goes back to that old
not a
school rule.
forgiveness. Yeah,
Nothing in this world is for free. You know,
yeah.
so it's very rare. Like I think a lot of people got even more confused when COVID hit and all of these different types of policies were put in place to protect owners. People were confusing what was going on. And they were hearing forbearance and things like that. And now they don't truly understand the process. Like you said, they're thinking they have this window where they don't have to pay, and then all of a sudden they got to make this balloon payment, and now you're in a worse scenario than you were even before.
And they know most people don't understand a lot of the dialect that's in the finance and mortgage world. So most people won't even stop to ask a question. In their mind, they're just emotional and they think, oh, I'm getting break, I'm getting a help. But actually, you're not. And they know most people can't even read the literature inside. They might not even be able to afford a real estate attorney to take it them to have them. You know, that can be expensive. They might charge $300 just to read over your contract. And some people that might not seem like a lot, but if you're having a financial hardship, $300 might as well be $3,000. So just
Exactly.
understand that and try to reach out for help if you can. Like my partner said, it's not a forgiveness. That's a common misconception. Now, the third thing people try to reach out for, I noticed if they're in foreclosure, is a repayment plan. This is also confused with a loan modification and everything, but it's not the same. Your loan's not restructured as a whole. Some of the qualifications and documents they request are going to be the same. And basically, your repayment plan is they'll take your late payments and they'll break it up into your payments over amount of time until you get caught up. So if you're behind 3 months, they'll divide it by 3 months and they'll break it up into 3 to 6 next payments until you get caught up, and then you'll just resume right back into your normal payments. So that's a repayment plan. A lot of people confuse it with a loan mod. It's not the same. And the next thing a lot of people, you hear this used a lot, is a bankruptcy
The
and
B word.
filing a bankruptcy. And yes, this can delay a bankruptcy. It doesn't stop it. And there's different types of bankruptcy we'll go into at a later time. But yeah, bankruptcy can put in place what's called a temporary stay on the actual day of the auction if you get that filing in. But there's a lot of misconceptions around that, like I said, and we'll touch on that in another video. But yeah, bankruptcy can delay / stop a foreclosure. Definitely.
Like Jason said, we're going to touch on the details because it's kind of a separate thing. And we want
Yeah.
to touch on more of the subtleties and the different types of bankruptcies that you can use. But there's also a lot of myths around it. You know, there's some negatives and some positives to it. We want to save that for another video to kind of touch. If you want to get deep within, do your research, speak with a bankruptcy attorney to figure out what's going to be the best strategy for you and if it's even worth it in the long run for you to do it. Lastly, I should say, and not least, but is selling the property. A lot of people, for some reason, me and Jason talk about, they are very hesitant to do this. It kind of weirds us out, especially when you're dealing with someone that has a lot of equity in their home, why they would just sit on that and not try to get a fresh start. And I get it. I understand it, being that we went through it ourselves. Like, I think we both kind of had that come to Jesus moment when we were dealing with it, where we have to realize,
Yeah.
like, this isn't the end of the world. This isn't the worst case scenario. I can try and fight this or sit still and bury my head in the sand and let the train just come down the tracks and hit me. Or I can take control, get rid of this burden, this weight that and that's essentially what it becomes, and literally start fresh. Because if you were to go through the whole foreclosure process, it's not only painful, you can lose all your equity, you're losing a chunk of money. It's like literally letting somebody just raid your bank account and just take out all your savings, you
Yep.
know.
We see it all
But
the time. We shake
all
our
the
head,
time,
reach out
all
to
the time.
homeowners, try to help and walk through the process. Maybe they didn't get approved for a loan mod, and then they're at the point where they have to make that tough decision and they're just not able to make it for emotional reasons. And I've seen people walk away, and my partner Champ has too. Like, we've seen people walk away from six figures.
Perfect example, that family we spoke to in San Francisco
Yeah.
had a multi-unit they were going to lose,
Like
and
240K in equity.
easily 240K in equity, and spoke with them. They were thinking about it, and then they just got quiet on us. And a few days later, we checked, and it was sold at auction for a lot less than what we were even, you know.
A
So
lot. Usually auction price always going to be a lot less. There's a
a
myth that
lot
people,
less.
if you people that are paying cash are just coming through to pay pennies on the dollar. Normally cash offer is just lease the repairs. That's basically what it boils down to
Exactly.
for the most part. It's nothing like an auction price. An auction price is is pennies on the dollar. A cash
Pennies on the
offer, unless
dollar.
you get an investor that really don't know anything, is new, or or just a shark. You get like dirt as super low ball people, unless you get like an investor like that or something. Or then for the most part, it's not. For your house to be that market price, you have to put money into it to make it up to
Market
that
value.
standard. So
Mm-hmm.
do you have money to renovate the kitchen? If it's problems on the roof, do you have money to fix the roof? Do you have money to make a market style bathroom to keep up that? No, that's a lot of money to renovate things. So you got to think that too. So no,
Yeah.
that is the option that's there too, is just to sell and get a fresh start. Like you can always buy another house. Understand the emotional attachment. Like my partner said, we've been there. Advice my mom told me years ago. Like I got caught in the '07 real estate crash, and I was attached to a couple properties. And like my mom told me, and I ended up short selling a couple of them. And like she told me, like you can always buy another property. There's not a timeline put on this. I've seen people go through extreme hardships and 2 years later bounce back better than ever. It's not like like you're an NFL player and yeah, once you
got
hit
short
30,
window.
you got a short window. You don't have that in your financial life or your just your life in general. You don't have that timeline. So that's how you got to think about it. It's not an emotional thing. Sometimes it's just the best thing to do and get a fresh start and move forward.
Exactly. The earlier you consider selling the property, the more leverage you have. The more time you have to sell it, if you want to try to figure out how to put it on the market, you can reach out to like a realtor like myself or someone else and put it on the market if it's turnkey ready, you know. But as you let time dwindle on making that decision, the less leverage you have, and you're going to probably have to take a hit. But even still, starting fresh with 100K in your pocket and bank account is always better than starting with nothing in your bank account and a foreclosure on your credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
With counseling services that can help you with your credit, and we provide those to the people, like people to get you right back. I've seen people would take a big hit on their credit and 7 months later be right back. I've seen people in a foreclosure situation literally buy another house in about 14, 15 months. I've seen it. It's not unusual at all. If that's the route you want to go. So yeah, sometimes it's just about taking the emotion out of things. Like I said, home ownership can be very emotional thing, because that's what we're taught our whole life. But you have to remember, like the people in that property make the home. The property doesn't make the home. You can always buy another.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, guys, those are basically the ways that you can prevent a foreclosure, stop a foreclosure. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. The link to set an appointment with us or contact us is down below. But we hope that this helps you and can help you get through a situation that you're getting through. Do not feel hesitant to reach out to us directly. We are here to help. No one's judging you. Like I said, we know a lot of people are going through this right now.
There's a no judgment zone, and
no judgment zone.
Our advice is free, no strings attached. You won't owe us nothing if you reach out and just need some advice, or just need, some people just need direction to get pushed, or that's all you might need. That's absolutely free from On Time Realty Solution.
So perfect, man. We look forward to talking to you guys soon. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.